Jamaicans are being hypocrites about this. But honestly, this video is not just about Jamaicans, so don't come for me just yet. Just listen to the entire story. This is actually about Western culture and what we tend to do when disasters happen across the world. I've called this out multiple times, from as far back as I remember, because I'm not that old, from Pay for Paris. Pray for Paris was a hashtag, and that's maybe one of the biggest hashtag events that we've had when it comes to disasters. Now, we've had so many different events that happened since then, but every time I see this trend, and here's the trend that I see. Now, in case you don't know, let me catch you up real quick. In Jamaica recently, there's a Hurricane Melissa that happened in Jamaica. Now, it was devastating. It was a Category 5 hurricane, which is pretty much the strongest hurricane possible. It's from 1 to 5. And in all of these people, they went through so much tragedy. Some people lost houses. People lost their good equipment that they used. Just imagine this entire place being flooded to here with water. You'd lose so much. Even the TV's right there. TV, gone. Your laptop, gone. People lost their houses. People lost their cars. People lost so much. Now, this is very expensive. It's very sad. No, understand. What I'm not saying is that this is not a tragedy. Hurricane Melissa is very much a tragedy. But here's what I want us to be cautious of. I've said this multiple times when it comes to tragedy. Even though Hurricane Melissa is a problem, and we should, as Jamaicans all over the world, come back in and say, hey, you know what, we need to help our fellow Jamaicans. I don't want to miss that we, particularly as Jamaicans, are doing this because we are Jamaican. But there are people who will get online and they'll say, oh, you know, this is so sad. People are suffering. This is so sad. It's the worst it's ever been, you know, and they'll make it bigger in terms of magnitude than it is, but that are only doing that because it's related to them. You understand? And here's my dilemma. We, as a Western culture, love to do this. A shooting happens in California. 5 people die. Okay, 5 people die. Okay, now we can objectively say if 5 people die here and 500 people die at the same day in a different country, the Western world will consider these 5 people in California to be more, how do I say, worth it or news title worthy, or more sad even than 500 lives lost in Afghanistan or Sudan or the Philippines. And I'm going to actually show you that this is true in more ways than one. Okay, so let me give an example. When Hurricane Melissa started in Jamaica, the death toll was around 9 people. Right now it's around 25. The morning after the Hurricane Melissa left Jamaica, one flood dam erupted and killed 25 people just like that in Haiti. That was the first death toll. 25 people gone just like that. The death toll in Haiti for the same hurricane is much higher than it is for Jamaica. But have you heard that story? Probably not. There's flooding happening all across the world. But because we're Jamaicans, we think that this is worse than it is in other countries. No, people are suffering all over the world. And so then when we get online, we can't then say that we believe in humanity, we are pro-life, and then we're not being fair to other countries. If we're going to say pray for Haiti, pray for Jamaica, we also have to say pray to Philippines, pray for Spain. Now, you may not know this, but a similar event, a typhoon, happened in the Philippines. 150 people about have already died in Philippines from a similar event. It's a similar hurricane. But have you seen any mention of pray for Philippines? Exactly. That's my point. You haven't seen any mention of pray for Philippines. And that's the discrepancy that I'm calling out. It's hypocritical of the Western culture to continue to do this. The world is believing that because Jamaica is the vacation spot, you know, it's the Irish spot, it's the place where people smoke weed, it's Bob Marley, Usain Bolt, that it's somehow more valuable than the thousands of lives lost in Sudan, in the Sudan war for the last 2 years. We believe that it's somehow more valid than the destruction and death that's happening in Philippines, that's happening in Haiti. Because this is how some people think. It's Haiti. They're a dump anyways. So why should we care? You should care because they're human. Don't put up pray for Jamaica and you're not equally as upset as what's happening in Haiti and Philippines and Spain and Sudan and Afghanistan and Ukraine and so many other places. I mean, Israel, they're still at war. Israel and Palestine, they're still at war. But no one is, you understand what I'm saying? This Israel has been bombing the goddamn living daylight out of Palestine for the past, I think it's almost 2, 3 years now. We have to be fair. It's either human life is worth it or it's not. And this is the hypocrisy that I'm calling out. Now, you may disagree. I can already hear the comments. People are going to say that I'm not patriotic. People are going to say, okay, so then what? Do you want us to not help Jamaica? No, that's not what I'm saying. Help Jamaica. What I don't want us to get into, this is what the point is. I don't want you to think that what's happening in Jamaica is worse just because it's related to you. If you're going to be helpful as a human being wherever you see suffering in the world. But don't just focus on Jamaica when you see human suffering. After Jamaica is fixed, remember, other countries are still suffering. Still continue to pray for Sudan. Still continue to pray for Afghanistan. Still continue to pray for Palestine. Still continue to pray for Ukraine. These countries are still suffering. Ethiopia, these countries are still suffering. But once Jamaica is fixed, which more than likely will be by the end of the year, a lot of people will be moving on with their lives by the end of the year. These other countries that I just mentioned won't have that luxury. And that's the hypocrisy of the West. I hope that makes sense. Cue the comments of people going to be angry at me. People are going to call me unpatriotic. People are going to call me ungrateful. I'm ready for all of it. So bring it on. I'll see you soon.